Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. What's today's topic about? Why do women always get the opposite outcome in men? Sounds odd, right? You wanted this type of guy, but you landed up with opposite. Always when I see all these interviews going around asking ladies, what do they always gravitate to? Oh, you want a man with great character. Time and time, they have been proven that what they pick, what they can get, is really opposite of what they really want. And if you are not, ladies, if you're not razor focused and looking at the type of men that you want for the long term, you will land up with nothing. And one of the key issues ladies have is that they would give really questionable advice to each other, and it might have some merits in it, but the issue is the message received cause further confusion and have women looking for the wrong things in the wrong places. So let me just run through this clip for us here.
Yeah, that didn't work out. Yeah, that didn't work out. Yeah, that didn't work out. Yeah, that didn't.
No, wait. That one actually did work out.
Now, what's wrong with this clip? If you're looking for a man with great character, you have to use your greatest superpower, ladies. Your greatest superpower is your intuition. You must use your intuition to good use, and you must use your mind to good use. You must think with these two areas. Not using your eyes and your stomach. If you're going to measure that to determine a man's character, sad to say, you're putting yourself in a very difficult position, because it's very easy, like I say, for a man to spend money on you, to spend resources on you, but it's very hard for a man to show you that character, and you've got to really do the work to find that man with the right character for you. So don't be as shallow as what you claim perhaps meant to be. You've got to dig deeper than that. You've got to look deeper, and you can't just use resources as just your only benchmark if your outcome is finding a man of good quality. Right? So the key thing is use your superpower. Now I'd like to break down this video, because it moved quite quickly, just to cover a few of the things that I believe make sense, and I believe should be maybe questioned, and further thought needs to be put in it. Right? So let's get back into this clip.
Yeah, that didn't.
So walking a dog. What's wrong with walking a dog? Who doesn't love God's four-legged furry creatures? And would you like to know your man's best friend? Because you want to know who he hangs out with, you want to know who are his influences, and up to a certain extent you can say having a dog, a life companion, is a great way for you to know him, because you can see how he treats the dog. Doesn't mean that he's going to treat you like a dog, but if he shows care, if he shows concern, if he has a warm heart, that is a fantastic display of character. If the dog genuinely loves the owner, doesn't have fear in him, well kept, this is likely a good indicator he will be a caring person. And that's what you want. That's what you're looking for, isn't it? A man with great character, caring, can take care of you. Oh, but he could be so boring. Can't win him all. You can't win him all. And yeah, maybe there isn't a lot of money spent, but it's a great way to really sync up in terms of your likes and dislikes. You think about it. If you're an animal lover too, and he's an animal lover too, it's a great way to really to find some commonalities in it, isn't it? And you can then have a foundation, because a relationship needs to be different people, but having some common interests. This will ensure you have a longevity in your relationship. So think of it this way. Having a common topic and being able to demonstrate the man has a caring character to him, I think is a great way for you to assess his ability, to be a decent human being, right? And plus point, if the dog likes you, I think it's a very good indicator whether you are a good person too, right? Now, if the dog doesn't like you even after getting approval from the man, I think you might want to figure out whether you are the one with the problem, all right?
Work out. Yeah, that
Coffee shop, all right. In my opinion, if you are really looking for a serious relationship and you're professionals, working adults, meeting over coffee is a great way to get to know each other. You have so many benefits and so little cons. Number one, maybe which is what you don't like, there is very little capital outlay in the beginning for both sides. And all you feminists, right? You want to split 50-50. This is a great way you can buy each other your own coffee and have a chat. Why then are you demanding for a man to pay for your meal? If you are fighting for equality, and if you want to demonstrate that, that you have the ability to care for yourself. But in my opinion, maybe men won't like to hear this, I believe, especially on the first date or first meetup, the man should definitely make the effort to pay. Now, I still believe in chivalry today, but equally, I then expect the lady to be equally respectful. But am I going to go on full on to invest in a very fancy dinner for a lady that I've just met for the first time? Debatable. But for me personally, no go. Because that's a lot of money to spend on something that is really uncertain. So if you're both professionals, you both have your own income, and you just don't want to waste each other's time, a coffee meetup is a great way, all right, to get to know each other. It's generally in the daytime, and you're in a public area with usually a lot of people, and you usually have a limited time period to this. It could be even during your working hours. You could catch up for coffee if you're nearby, and even a weekend you can just catch up for a coffee. And maybe if you are really looking forward to that and you really had a good vibe, you can even transition to a lunch. But that really lets you also limit the amount of time you personally invest in this meetup. Because if after half an hour and an hour you felt, hey, this is going nowhere, you can just eject yourself out of the conversation. No worries. And the man has very little room then to impress you, isn't it? All you have is very little distractions. You just got a coffee between you, and then you just have to really talk. That's when you can exercise your intuition and your mind. He can then demonstrate to you whether he is of sound mind, whether he can articulate himself, whether he's he's genuinely here today, because he knows that you are also not taking him for a ride. And I can tell you, men prefer this. A lot of men also are shy. They're terrified to meet, and furthermore, lock into a long date and spend a lot of money for uncertainty. This is really, I think, a good way, and I would say really is a fantastic way, I think, for people to meet. Something light, something casual, something that you don't have to invest a lot of time in and resources, yet you really have a very focused conversation between two individuals. So I think this is a great way, and I think you're wasting a fantastic opportunity to meet a lot of people who really honestly are also very busy like yourself, and it's a great way for you to just sit down and have a chat.
didn't work out. Yeah, that didn't.
Drinks. I'm a little torn on this, alright? Personally, maybe because I'm Asia, I don't think meeting up for drinks makes so much sense. Perhaps in the Western culture, like I said, having a drink is more prevalent. But the challenge with having a drink, it's actually two-sided, alright? There's two prongs to it, if you look at it that way. it's a great way because it lowers your inhibitions, it lowers your guard, and it lowers your barriers. And sometimes when you had a bit too much, you probably keep it real, perhaps too real, all right? And you actually can get to know a person really quickly then. But at the same time, if your ability to manage alcohol, and there are also issues in terms of besides even getting drunk, even people like spiking your drink. Not to say that the world is such a horrible place, but for me, as a lady coming out, safety is paramount. So if you're going out there, you're putting yourself in a noisy, loud environment. Usually you're putting yourself in a dangerous place, and you run the risk of not being able to manage your alcohol well. You know who you are, right? Some people are good, but the best of us, I'm sure, who drink, had moments where were not reflected on gloriously. So why put yourself in such a situation? But of course, if it's your culture and drinking really is a common thing, and you both can manage your alcohol very well, I think that's good. But if not, and I would really think it's likely err to the side of caution here, you probably best not to go in that angle, because you also further drinking usually late at night, and it goes on for hours here, and you then are setting up yourself for the next thing, right? Because it's night, it's late, someone's got to send someone home or follow somebody home, and this sets you up in the next event which you might not be ready for. So in my opinion, maybe drinks is not a very good idea here.
Work out. Yeah, that didn't.
Now, dinner. Nice, I think, if you're a lady, but like I said, you're going to really be dolled up, number one. So he's going to, of course, see the best of you, right? Ladies without makeup is another story. So now you're showing him a false front with your makeup. And at the same time, you are, going in all dressed up, feeling really good about the vibe, especially based on her background too, and the way this lady dresses up. You're going for a fancy dinner. So you're going to have a great environment. The man is going to treat you right? He's going to probably, you're going to have some drinks too, right? Which is on the previous point here, as I mentioned, what were the considerations. And you're really in a very nice mood, puts you in a very good mood, and that actually lowers your inhibitions. That's one of the concerns that I would have here. And now, in my opinion here, I think she's an attractive lady, easily top 20% at her current point in time, all right? And definitely for these type of ladies, they can definitely demand a man to spend more resources here. But if a man knows that he can get you just by paying for dinner, and if he has the means to do, he would just look at you as just sorry to say, more of a gold digger than rather someone of a long-term partner. Make sense, right? And like I said, for yourself, you're putting yourself up in to get finesse, let's put it this way, because the man just needs to show you a lot of money, needs to show you that he can take you out for dinner with the expectation. You see, again, like I said, you're at night, you might have some drinks, you might not, but if the man has come up with significant resources, he's going to be asked to be compensated. So are you ready for that? And you are literally, what I would say, setting yourself to be finesse again, and you're really casting a genjutsu or sharingan on yourself here. Literally, you're showing the man the way to your mind, perhaps your body. You're literally setting your pyramids up so clearly that the man this has a very easy roadmap. Let's take you out for dinner. load you up with some alcohol, give you a good time, maybe have some good conversations, and bam, next thing you know, walk of shame. So what is your objective, you see? What do you want to achieve? If you just want to have a good time, I think this lady's strategy here makes sense. You definitely will have a good time, and I think the guy will probably have an even greater time. Or is your objective to find a man of character? A man worth, your time? Because what's more valuable, if you ask me, from a man or from anybody, it's not resources, it's actually his time. Because if he gives you his time, he's actually giving up potential to earn more resources. So money for a guy with means nothing, and for her, she knows that there are men who will pay for this, but the men who pay for this expect women that looks like this, right? And here's the thing: if they can afford this kind of dinners, they can definitely get a string of ladies who think like her. And you see the title there, it says here, dinner is your new bare minimum. So inversely, as a man, if you can afford to pay and willing to throw money away, this is what you can get: a night out with a lady on your terms. Ladies, you might think you're in charge, but who holds the money? You might say, yeah, you withhold the cookie, but he can also withhold his resources. So you're going to be, again, stuck in a difficult situation, because he can just say, yes, I can put it on to another lady, and trust me, he will. And then after that, be wondering, hey, what happened again? So again, with this dinner, there are similar risks that isn't covered here. Number one, again, you're obligated to stay. You need to sit through the whole dinner by right, yeah, right? And if you suddenly don't like where things are going, it's not so easy for you to just stand up and go. You have ordered food is coming, he's paying for drinks. You can't just say, hey, I have 30 minutes, I'm done, I gotta run off. You gotta sit through the whole thing, right? And number two, you're wasting time. You might ask, whose time is more valuable? And in the sense of your value over time, I would say, ladies, you are frivolously throwing your time away, and you don't realize it, because as the saying goes, youth is always wasted on the young. So you might think you have plenty of time, but the reality is, every tick of the clock, right, you're getting closer to depreciation levels that you never thought was possible. So your time is actually more valuable. And are you willing to invest 3, 4, 5 hours on a dinner date, which maybe includes drinks? And is it really a good use of your time if your objective is to find a man? And number three, again, what would the man expect? The greater his outlay of investment and his time, the higher in terms of expectation for you to reciprocate. So what are you going to offer a man that is willing to spend, let's say, a $500 dinner on you, $1,000 dinner on you? What are you going to do to repay his act of kindness? You think he willingly takes you out for a dinner with no expectation for sex? You cannot be that naive, right? So now you have set yourself up to be obligated to give that to him. And you might think, yeah, it's worth nothing to you. But actually there's a cost. And too late, women only in their much later years, 30s and beyond, realize that is a cost that they were not able to pay, and that they were not aware of we're telling you now today, and I'm telling you now today, many of us are saying that this is a cost that a lot of us are not aware of, especially for the ladies, right? So you're setting up yourself again to be in the position where you're obligated, and again at night. So if you had drinks, you're now going to be in a position where you segue into other activities that you were not ready at that time. So is this the right way? Is this the wrong way? You figure out. That's ultimately your choice. You're a big girl, you're an adult. But if you want a man that is of great character, then you should look for these type of men. Not mire yourself up in all these superficial tests of quality. So I hope this helps you, give you some thoughts and some ideas on how to navigate your interactions with the opposite sex. And I want you to really think, what do you want to achieve? And the way to achieve it. Don't just think of having a good time. Don't just think that, hey, it will just come naturally, like fairy godmother will come and bless you. The universe will give you one, or based on your zodiac sign, this is the right partner for you. No, you've got to do the work. You've got to put in the works to find that man, to put yourself in the ready position when the man, the right man also discovers you. So do the work and know what you really want. It's difficult, I know, when you're young, but that is really the peak time really for you to get the best outcome that you're looking for. I hope this helps you out. Happy to hear your thoughts. If you'd like me to cover any topic, do let me know. And until then, stay safe.